Hi, my name is Butch Bowles, and I'm here to review my Gretsch 6122-1959 Nashville classic guitar. I have always enjoyed when other people did reviews of guitars. I recently bought an archtop guitar, and it was fun to go on YouTube and see how people reviewed it. It was fun. It was also informative. I learned something. So I'm not a professional reviewer. I'm certainly not affiliated with Gretsch in any way, but hopefully I can demonstrate the guitar enough to where you can see that I think Gretsches are overlooked, terribly overlooked as jazz instruments. I think obviously we think of jazz musicians as being the musician and the guitar is the tool, but for some reason, I don't know very many jazz guitarists that play Gretsch guitars, and I think they're missing out on some good value here. Very quickly, grew up hearing Chet Atkins in the house. When I started playing, I started studying jazz, which of course led me to Jim Hall, Ed Bickert, Mike Stern, John Abercrombie, John McLaughlin, all these people, and none of them played Gretsches, and it's always been kind of a mystery to me because I think Chet Atkins has such a beautiful tone. It's brighter than most of those guys typically, but it's also still worn. So what I did is I bought this used. I don't normally tell people what I spend, but since it's kind of a guitar review, maybe it's useful. This guitar new sells I've seen it on the internet, between $2,400 and $2,700. I bought it used for less than $2,000. I replaced the Bigsby with a Gibson tailpiece. This tailpiece is one that you maybe have seen on some editions of L5s. It's on their Kalamazoo Award that they had for a while. I replaced what they call the rocker bridge. I think it was called a rocker bridge, which was a solid piece of metal that was curved with a tune-o-matic. The only reason I made that change is the rocker bridge that was on here didn't match the radius of the neck exactly. It's kind of strange that would happen, but the bridge actually played in tune just fine. I replaced the TV Jones Supertron with the TV Jones Classic. The only reason for that is the Supertron pickup sounded fantastic. I've heard people play that pickup, it sounds fine, but I sometimes alternate between a high E that's an 11 and the corresponding set, and a set with a high E that's a 12, sometimes a wound G, sometimes not, and the adjustable pole pieces let me balance the string volume better. This is also a Supertron. I think it's called an HT. I've not been able to find information on that on TV Jones's website. I don't know why. Maybe I'm missing something. But those are really the only changes that were made that would have any effect on the tone, which would be the tailpiece. Bigsby's gone. The bridge, it's a tune-o-matic. Some Gretsches actually have tune-o-matics, and just swapped out one Filtertron for another. The other modifications are just preference, knobs. I got rid of the Gretsch pick guard for an ebony one, just on a lark, see what it would look like. I think it would look better if it had a white binding to match the rest of the guitar. This little switch now has a plastic cover on it. The metal one and the knobs actually are chipped and nail ones, and it's just smoother. No change in tone, certainly. And also the strap buttons. I have Dunlop strap locks on here now. Anyway, let me just play a minute or so. I'm just a big fan of these things as jazz guitars. I think they're overlooked. I'm playing through an acoustic image Claris 2R through a Buscarino Chameleon speaker cabinet. think it's got a beautiful sound, reminiscent of Chet's sound, warm, still warm enough to play jazz. And if you're interested in looking for a jazz guitar, please check out the Gretsch lineup. In addition, I happen to like the Filtertron pickups in the middle position too. Of course, you know, it's got that sound we all know. Not me necessarily, you know, that kind of sound. And of course, the Gretsch treble sound. I could probably do that a little better. I'm not a surf guy, so give me a break. Anyway, this guitar still has a lot of versatility. It's made with some really heavy bracing. It's not as braced like with a solid piece of wood like a Gibson ES335, but it's certainly more braced than something like a Gibson ES175. I'm just using Gibsons as a reference because that's kind of a standard that most people that get into playing archtop guitars understand. Heavily braced, changed the Bigsby out with a solid tailpiece. Pickup change I don't think is that necessary. The tailpiece to me gave it kind of more of a centered sound. It's not that it's better, it just kind of got rid of some of the jangle, which is why some people play a Gretsch. So I don't think you have to get rid of the Bigsby to play jazz on a Gretsch. It's just that Bigsby's and I don't get along. I just tend to go out of tune with them. And I covered the price, some of the mods I made, and hopefully you can hear just how versatile this instrument is. Holds the sound at really extreme volumes. You can play with big bands. I don't play with big bands anymore. But even in clubs where you have bass and a drum, you know. I'm not doing that again just to prove I can do it. Pretty, you know, really nice note separation. Just a nice guitar. And I think it's true of all the Gretsch guitars. A nice wood on it if I didn't mention that before. But obviously we can't hear the wood, but it's kind of cool. But I also had a Tennessee Rose for a while. And a little broader, still pretty not prone to feedback. That guitar is more like an ES175, their Tennessee Rose. And if I didn't mention it, I'm not affiliated with Gretsch. And I just think they're fantastic guitars and overlooked as jazz instruments, and they're worth checking out. And a bargain. I mean, it's not an inexpensive guitar, but compared to some of its counterparts out there, it's really a bargain. So good luck. Hope the review was a little helpful. And please post some reviews of your instruments. They're fun for people that are shopping for guitars as well as just people that like guitars like myself. Have a nice evening, and thank you.